Hi, everyone, and welcome to All Things Creative. I'm your host, Linda Riesenberg Fisler. It's good to have you back. It's Monday morning, and big news over the weekend was that there were indictments being brought against three people who have worked on the Trump campaign or involved in the Trump campaign in some way. And the indictments have been released this morning. And three people are indeed, two have surrendered. The third has admitted that he had lied to the FBI when he was being interviewed. So, what I thought I would do was talk about a little series that I wrote out on the Blind Series website, so blindseries.lindafisler.com. And I'm going to put this up on YouTube as well so that you can actually see the front page of the website as I kind of move through this. But back when all of this discussion was going on, a number of my fans, great super fans that you are, wrote me and said, what do you think my three characters, Nicole, Sean, and Jenkins, would be doing in response to this whole investigation, all of the things that are going on with the Trump administration. And I'm not going to get too much into politics here, but what I wanted to do is I sat and thought about that for a while as these fans basically brought this to my attention. And one thing that I would need to make clear is anything that I would write or say, doesn't necessarily mean that all three of these characters end up surviving throughout the whole series. This is totally different from the Blind series itself. This was like a fun thing to do because I was asked and I started thinking about what their reactions would be and where would they be today, considering that they would be somewhere around 70, in their 70s. What kind of influence could they bring to today's world? And if you understand that the premise of the Blind series is what they could do back in the 1980s and 90s to make this a better situation today, how the world would be changed with their influence back then, how would the world be today? So, it's kind of like taking it out of context because this could be a whole different world today if they succeed in their quest to do some things differently. So with that in mind, and that is a disclaimer, I decided that I would have some fun with my blog and write a series of scenes, doing a bunch of research, more than I want to admit, to write these scenes at a time when a lot of things were being uncovered and reported, some maybe inaccurately, but basically I wanted to take some of that information, find out its truth, and then have my characters talk about the situations that were developing and how they thought about it. And I called that on the blog, the Blind Series Today. And it's out on the website. If you are following us on YouTube, you can see that this is my blindseries.lindafisler.com website. And then we're at the home page right now. If I scroll down, you can see the home page. Down here is the listing of all of the new blogs. And as you can see, just want to hit this real quick again. The big news from last week was that Blind Influence, I signed a contract with Skyboat Media out in LA to produce an audiobook of Blind Influence. So that was the big news from last week, and I'm still celebrating that, as a matter of fact. Still very happy with that. Been in contact with Gabrielle and Stefan a couple times since then and gave them some background on Jenkins and on Nicole and on Sean. So things are moving along with that. But let's get back to the Blind series today. So you come back to the website, you see the Blind series, you see home. We're on the home page right now. This is the Blind series today. If you click on that, let's see if I can get this back. All right, why is it doing that? Oh, because I probably did this. Let's see if I can close this. get back to sharing my screen. Okay, there we go. So we have the blind series today. And it says here, if you just discovered the blind series today and want to catch up on starting with scene 1, here are all the links to them. I update this from time to time, but getting daily notices if you are on Facebook, here's the link to the blind series Facebook page. So if I write something with the blind series, I usually put it out on Facebook with a link directly to that particular blog post. But here are links to each of those scenes that I have written a while ago. And you can tell there are 33 of them. I probably will end up writing something on today's development and getting Jenkins and Sean and Nicole's input on this. But if you look down through the titles, you can see this is the first one. This was kind of fun to write because one of my fans asked me directly, what would Jenkins think of President Trump? And this is knowing that Jenkins is a Democrat. This is his reaction. He meets up with his old friend Stephen Harrigan, who is the anchor at WNN, and Stephen is a little bit younger than Jenkins. But he is a seasoned veteran when it comes to being an anchor and a reporter, investigative reporter. So this little scene talks about, Harrigan basically trying to get Jenkins to come on his program so that he can ask him for his input and advice and knowledge of being president, etc. So, and you can see here it's a little spoiler alert, that comes with this, is basically saying, I will not be writing anything in book 4, 5, and 6 that would make it line up with anything I've written with the blind series today. So I want to go back to the blind series today page, which is showing now. So this is getting the story, Jenkins and Sean. So after he meets with Harrigan, for example, he calls Sean and says, what's going on? And then there's another Jenkins and Harrigan scene. And then it's a really big show. That one talks a little bit about, again, it's with Harrigan. He goes on the air and they start talking about various the White House press secretary and Trump advisors, one of which will be on the show later, have said that simply isn't true. How do you respond to that? And then Jenkins talks about, as proven back in the 1970s with Watergate and again in the 80s with the Andrews assassination, which is the fictitious character. Cover-ups of this magnitude simply can't sustain their invisibility. So it would be kind of fun, I think, to go back and reread some of the things that I had pulled together based on the research that I was doing at the time. And then he goes on, tweet, and he talks about Trump's tweeting, Jenkins does, and then flip-flop, walk back, whatever you want to call it. And it goes on and on and on and on. And then it gets down into, there are some very interesting scenes between Nicole and Sean. And basically what I was doing throughout this whole series was every new piece of information that came out spurred a little blog or a little scene that I was writing. And the one that I particularly am waiting to get tied back into is, it comes out in this particular blog post, What's Up with the Half Share. And Nicole starts researching the Rosneft deal. So I am waiting. I really, really am waiting to find out who gets these 30 shares of Rosneft. But it was less than that, and they added a half share, and talks about the meeting at the Mayflower Hotel and how that additional share got added on. So I'm really waiting for Mueller to tie all of this together. And this particular, the blind series today thing does that with my little speculations. Again, there's some, as with my book, there are true facts, and then there's the fiction that I write with it. So it if you're interested, please take a look at this blind series today. Like I said, I'm going to have to go back and read some of this because it's been a while since I wrote these. But it is a fun little thing, and it also, it ties my characters into today, and should be fun for everyone to watch or to read. And then the other thing I want to say is tonight I am giving a self-publishing fundamentals talk at our main library in Middletown, and that particular library, that particular talk at the library, I have a PowerPoint that I have created for it. So what I probably will do is open up my Adobe Premiere and make a little YouTube video that I'll be sharing later this week with the talk on it, so that the folks who don't live in my little hometown here who can't make it to there will also benefit from the things that I have pulled together with that. So go out to blindseries.lindafisler.com, click on the blind series today, and that will give you all 33 scenes that I had written to date on this particular little fun series that I pulled together. So if you want a little aside to today's news of the indictments coming down and just want to be entertained, here's your chance. Blind Series today, out on the blindseries.lindafisler.com website. You all have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you later this week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.